And hold it up when you're done, please. Great job, Aryansh and Josiah. You're doing great today. Thank you, Arshab. Rishith, Marcus, please hold up ow-o, like cow in the snow. Good, it should look like this. Thank you, Marcus. Next up, let's write ow, o, oo, ah. What is ow, o, oo, ah? Great job, Rishith. Make sure you're holding it up after every single phonogram. Let me see. Ow, o, oo, ah. Thank you. Ow, o, oo, ah. Next up, please write oo, you that we do use at the end of English words. Ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. Like new. Aryansh, do you have a question? Okay. Kruthi, is something going on over there? Looks like you're distracted by something on your computer. Make sure you're holding up every phonogram that we are writing. Ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. Next up, please write ooh, you that we do not use at the end of English words. Good. Ooh, you that we do not use at the end of English words because English words do not end with you. Next, another pair kind of like these, ah that we do use at the end of English words. And then ah that we do not use at the end of English words. Those would be our last ones. Ah that we do use at the end of English words, and ah that we do not use at the end of English words. Still waiting for a few more people to hold them up. It should look like this. Samhita, would you go through all of them and say each of the phonograms we just wrote?
Ow, that we do use at the end of English words. Ow, that we do not use at the end of English words.
This is the one that's a little different. We actually say ow, o, oo,
Of these.
That's okay. Yep, you got it.
Ew, that we do use at the end of English words.
Ooh, you.
Ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words.
Good. And this one?
Ooh, you that we do not use at the end of English words.
Excellent.
That we do use at the end of English words, and that we do not use at the end of English words.
Perfect, Samhita. Well done. Deekshita, can you do the same thing? Go through and say each of the phonograms.
Ow, oh, cow in the snow. Ow, oh. Ow, ow, ooh. That's
Ow, oh, ooh, ah.
ow, ooh, ooh,
Very good.
Ew, ew, ew that we do not use at the end of English words.
This is ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words.
And the second one, ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. And
No, this one is ooh, you that we do not use at the end of English words because it ends with a U. This one we do use at the end of English words because it ends with a W. Can you try those two again?
Ew that we do use at the end of English words. Ew, you that we do not use at the end of English words.
Okay, very good. Last two.
That we do use at the end of English words, and au that we do not use at the end of English words.
Great job, Dikshita. Yeah, we say aw for both of those. We can erase our boards now and get ready for some spelling words. Starting with surgeon. Can you all write surgeon? Surge on is the way we think to spell that. Surge on, actually, there's a silent E there. Surgeon is the way we think to spell this one. Once you're done writing it, see, oh, does that look right? It looks like Ariane, you're doing that on your own. Good job. Write it down and then take a look at it and think, does that look right? Surgeon is the way we think to spell it. Remember, you go to a surgeon when you're hurt. So which are we going to use? The of hurt. That's right. So use the of hurt because you go to a surgeon when you're hurt. And here's the second syllable, G-on. Next up, let's write thoroughly. Thoroughly. We think to spell thoroughly. Good job, Ariansh. Excellent job, Rishith. Actually, Ariansh, you've got something off on yours. Couldn't see it completely. Can you think through what other phonogram you could use for that O sound, thoroughly? Do the best you can, boys and girls. Arshab, hold it up as soon as you're done writing, please. Thank you. Excellent job. Yep. The first syllable, Thor, like the Norse god Thor. The second syllable is O-U-F-F-A-Ow. Great job for those of you who remembered it. Kruthi, you're so close, but the first syllable is Thor. And you wrote an ow-o-u-ah, but we just need the or phonogram, which says an sound.
Or thoroughbred as the horses.
Ooh, yes, like thoroughbred horses. Very good. We've talked about that with Farmer Boy and Black Beauty. And here's the O-U-F-F-Ow phonogram and the L-Y adverb suffix. Good connection to Farmer Boy, Emma. Next up is the one where you can spell it two different ways. You can choose whichever way you want. For judgment, remember that? Judgment is an unusual English word that has two spellings that are both correct. So, it's a little bit of a freebie.
Pardon,
You have
I
to
can't
spell it in one of those two
hear you.
ways. Yes, ma'am? So judgment. There are two ways that are both correct. Please write judgment. Marcus, you should be writing each word as soon as I say it. Can you sound out judgment as you write? Good. This is the way that we learned it because it has the J, three-letter J phonogram. Ariansh, you've got to flip your D and G is the only thing for you. But we can also write it this way without the E. Either one of those is correct. But this is the way that we went through it in class. But if you drop the silent final E, that's another correct way of spelling it. Okay, next up, let's write accurate. Accurate. We think to spell accurate. And then we'll also write accuracy. Kruti, make sure you're writing each one. What's distracting you on your computer?
There's this thing that keeps on popping up.
Maybe Ariansh knows how to fix it, but even if you don't know.
I think I finally got it to leave.
Okay. But try to ignore that because you don't really need to mess with anything on your computer. You're just writing the words and holding them up. Ariansh, do you think you know what that is?
It happened to me a few times. It's just showing this, that it's showing that you have to leave this tab, and you cannot leave. If you let it just be there, then it will leave the tab for you automatically. So there's
Okay.
it's only sometimes happens. There's something that pops up. You have to push wait something, and then I think that's probably what it is.
Okay, thanks, Ariansh. Rishith gave a thumbs up like that is the case for him too. Okay, accurate is what you should be writing. Accurate. Please also write accuracy. Accurate and accuracy. Accurate and accuracy. Should look like this. Remember the double C. If you did not write this before, write it now. Write these two words, please, and mark them. Marking them is going to help you remember how to spell this correctly. We have not mastered these words yet, so we should still be marking. Ariansh, can you mark your words, please? Or at least try your best to mark the ones that you can see. Marcus, you should be writing these now, since you didn't write them before. Accurate and accuracy. Okay, let's do two more. I'm going to erase my board to give more space. Dessert and counterfeit. Please write both of those, dessert and counterfeit. Dessert, like something sweet to eat, and counterfeit. Hello, Tig.
You can apologize because you got the time.
Sorry, I misread the time.
That's okay. We are almost finished with our spelling review. Do you have your whiteboard nearby? Okay. I'll have you hop in just for the last ones. We're writing dessert and counterfeit. And then you'll be just in time for the new spelling lesson. Okay, here's dessert, like cake. Remember, more dessert, less sand. So we want the two S's for this one. More s'mores, less sand. More s'mores, that's right. And counterfeit, the first two syllables are just like a kitchen counter. The last syllable has that phonogram AE that we do use at the end of English words. Krithi, can you flip the I and E in that last syllable?
Okay, Kalish, Mama's gonna put her clothes on.
Oh, good question, Aryanch. Who eats a sandwich? Gross. Does not sound appealing to me.
Where's that piece?
Are you picturing just two bread slices with a bunch of
You
sand in
want
the
a
middle?
sandwich?
Okay, that's our last of the words to review for today. Dessert and counterfeit. We can erase our boards now, and it is time for a new lesson. Great job, Rishith. Now, we had a word yesterday that we're going to recall today. Treachery. Who remembers what treachery is? Treachery. Tig?
Someone who you think of as a friend betrays you.
Very good. It's like betrayal. Yeah, if a friend, you thought the person was your friend and then they go behind your back and say something mean. Oh, that's treachery. Now, if we want to turn it from a noun into an adjective, we make it treacherous. We add the OUS adjective suffix. Treacherous is a word you'd use to describe something that involves betrayal. It could be betrayal of your country, of a friend, of a family member. Treacherous is that kind of betrayal. So the word is treacherous. Sound it out with me, please. Treacherous. 3 syllables. First 2 syllables are just like the word yesterday. Treacher. The tre syllable is going to use E-A, just like before. Treacher, ch-er, is exactly what you think it would be, ch-sh, and earlier of her. And the last syllable, us, has the phonogram ow, o, u, making that sound, and s is just z. Please pick up your pencil and write treacherous. Yes, Aryansh?
Kong betrayed the people in Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh,
think
I've
so.
not seen that. I'll take your word for it. Betraying the people. That is an act of treachery.
Because they're both on the people's side, but they're both enemies.
Wait,
And
you
Kong's
saw
the
it
one
too?
who started
I like the part where when Kong took the axe and the laser beam shot it. Well, Godzilla's laser beam shot it.
Guys, don't spoil it. I haven't
And
seen it yet.
Marcus,
I'm going to see it soon.
okay. Boys, make sure that we are asking permission before we unmute, even though I love for you guys to have opportunity to talk to each other. Yes, Tig?
So if I remember correctly, there's this one spy that I read about. This one spy who was telling secrets to the enemy and make millions of dollars off of it. And so eventually he got caught. And
Yes, absolutely. That is a great example of treachery. If there was somebody who was selling secrets to China and they were an American citizen, that'd be going against your country. That's an act of treachery. And there's a lot of examples of that in history. Yes, Alexander? Some interesting ones that you'll probably learn about as we're not going to get into any of the wars this year, but you'd probably hear about them coming up soon.
for about 10 seconds, my dad gave me treachery.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I trip over his bit, and I'm just taking that as like treachery. I'm like, no! I'm thinking of Star Wars. No!
Oh, yeah, Star Wars would be a great example of that. Also, I don't know why I didn't think of this before as a good example. When Julius Caesar was emperor, were you about to say this, Kruthi? Who was treacherous in that situation?
I forgot to raise my hand back.
His friend,
His friend Brutus, that's right.
and he helped killed him.
That's right. He worked with the senators. Remember, et tu, Brute? You too, Brutus. That was an example of treachery that is one of the most famous of all time. His good friend ended up working with the senators to overthrow and kill him. That was treacherous. That definitely was treacherous. Okay, let's mark our word now. Simhita, would you mark it for us?
Okay. Underline the A.
Excellent.
Underline ch.
Good. We're also going to put a 2 on top of A since it's saying that S sound.
Then you have to underline earlier of her.
Perfect.
Then underline oo.
Ow, oh, ooh,
L-O-U.
Good. And fourth sound there. What part of speech is this? We have that OUS suffix.
Adjective.
Perfect. Well done, Samhita. Okay, our next word is kind of the opposite of treacherous. We should put this on the antonym page. Genuine. Because someone who is genuine or something that is genuine is not fake. They're not lying about anything. This also could be a counterfeit, an antonym to counterfeit. You know how counterfeit money, for example, is fake money? Genuine can be described as something that is real, or can describe something that's real. So let's say genuine together. Genuine, 3 syllables. We think to spell, though, genuine, 3 syllables. Can you say that with me? Genuine, 3 syllables. First syllable, n, 3 sounds. That's a good j saying its second sound because it's followed by an e. Gen. Next syllable, gen u, is just you saying its name in an open syllable. And last syllable, I, n, with a silent final e job 1, making I say its name. Yeah, they do count that as a silent final e job 1. I wasn't sure if it would be a job 6, odd job 6, because it actually says genuine, but we think of it as genuine. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. Genuine. Hold it up when you're done writing, please. Marcus, this is our time for writing. Great job, Tig. Great job, Alexander. Hold it up when you're done, everybody, please. I need to see genuine. Okay, genuine. N, syllable break. U, syllable break. I, n, genuine. But we say genuine. Could I have Sahanasri mark it for us? Sahanasri, would you mark it for us? Can't quite hear Sahanasri. I don't know what's going on. Josiah, would you do it for us instead?
Underline the U and you underline the I and double underline the same number 1.
Good. We're also going to put a thinking cap on that I and a 2 on top of j. Okay, thank you very much. Let's write part of speech. Adjective. And our next one is quarrel. Can you all say quarrel? Have you heard this before, Samhita? Quarrel? What does it mean?
Quarrel means to fight.
Very good. It's a fight. That's right. Usually, just kind of a disagreement or argument. Quarrel. We think to spell, going a little slower, quarrel, quarrel, because we have the phonogram R, the pirate phonogram. So maybe you can picture a pirate quarrel using the R phonogram. So quarrel. Sound it out with me. Quarrel. 2 syllables. First syllable is R. 2 sounds. That's qu, never use Q without U, and R. It says an sound. Then in the second syllable, we've got another so it's a double R, and -ul. Quarrel is actually the way we think of that last syllable. Quarrel. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. For those of you who are reading Harry Potter, you could think of Professor, not Quarrel, but
Quarrel.
Quirrell. There was a quarrel between Quirrell and Harry at some point. That's right. Quirrell was in a quarrel. Samhita, have you read that yet? Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm on page number 131.
Ooh, you're pretty far. Everyone show me the word quarrel when you're done. Quarrel is the thing to spell. Marcus, are you writing it? As soon as I switch to this, you should be writing it. Quarrel is the thing to spell. Qua, R, syllable break. Ul, quarrel. Emma, would you mark the word for us? And everyone check that your spelling matches mine.
Yes. So Q, never use Q without U, underline that. Then R, the underline.
Good, and it ends up saying an sound, so we're also going to put a thinking cap.
I'm thinking that. And
Quarrel, or quarrel. We're actually going to double underline the second R, and that almost never happens, that it's the second one in this middle of the word that's silent, but it's because this is part of that R phonogram. And this also doesn't say a normal sound, does it, Emma? Quarrel.
thinking cap.
Quarrel. Yeah, thinking cap. It's like a fight, so we're going to put in for noun. Our last word for today is accommodate. Would you all say accommodate? Hands up if you've heard this before. Accommodate. Right. It's basically to make changes for something. Like, oh, we might have to accommodate our plans because maybe if your grandma is coming to something, you've got to accommodate so it's not just a whole party of jumping on a trampoline. Maybe your grandma can't jump on the trampoline. Or accommodate for your little sister or brother so that they can be part of a game. Make some changes to the game so that maybe if you're playing basketball with them, they can go really close to the net, or you can lift them up so they are a little higher. Accommodate means make some changes, and generally make changes to help someone out. Tig, I'm going to guess that your mom jumps on a trampoline.
No, you shouldn't have said that because my mom is right in front of me.
Oh, okay. I feel like your mom would be the type of grandma that would jump on the trampoline with you guys.
I would do a trampoline, yeah.
Well, no offense to your mom. I meant the normal grandma might not jump on a trampoline.
She is not normal.
But I know, she's a fun grandma. I've got a fun grandma too. I bet some of you guys do too. Okay, so let's sound out accommodate. We're going to think of this as accommodate. Say it with me. Accommodate. 4 syllables. First syllable, k, 2 sounds. There's actually going to be a double C in this one. Okay? Next, k, a, m. 3 sounds, basic code. Next is another M. So there's double C and double M. O, 2 sounds, O in an open syllable saying its name. Finally, D, A, T, 3 sounds with a silent finally, job 1. Accommodate. Main thing to keep in mind is double C, double M. Please pick up your pencil and write accommodate. Show me your word once you're done, please, boys and girls. Accommodate. We think to spell accommodate. Yes, Aryansh?
Can I mark it?
I'd love for you to mark it, yes. Everyone show me the word accommodate. Syllable break. Syllable break. Syllable break. T. Silent final E. Aryansh, I would love for you to mark it now. And everybody double check that your spelling matches mine.
So in the first syllable, I think you thinking cap the A and double underline the first C.
Very good.
In the second syllable, it's basic code.
That's right, basic code.
In the third syllable, underline the second M. And double underline the second M.
Okay, yeah, actually, sorry, I forgot. The first one ends up being silent.
Okay.
Accommodate.
In thinking cap the O.
Good, because it's unstressed. Finally, last syllable.
Underline the A, underline the T, and double underline the silent final E, job number 1.
Great job. This is a verb, accommodate. To make some changes to help someone out. Like maybe making some gluten-free cake if you know your friend's coming over and they don't eat gluten. Or making something vegetarian if you've got some friends coming over and they're vegetarian. That's accommodating, making some changes to help someone out. Okay, let's write them in cursive, please. Treacherous, genuine, some antonyms there. Quarrel, not quarrel, but quarrel. And accommodate. accommodate. Remember the double C and double M. That's a frequently misspelled word by even adults, but you guys are going to master it. Double C and double M. You know, for the sake of time, we are not going to do any cursive because I think that took a little longer than usual. We are going to get started on well-ordered language as soon as you're done with those cursive words. Show me the 4 cursive words first, though. Before you put your binder away, show me your cursive. Excellent work, Alexander. Marcus? We can't just sit there. I want you to start writing these in cursive, please. Great job, Aryansh. Thank you, Dikshita. Marcus, persevere. Okay. For well-ordered language today, I want to go over a little bit more that you'll have on your test tomorrow. So actually keep that binder out because we'll write a sentence on the page here. Did anybody have questions about what you did yesterday, analyzing the sentences? Is that pretty straightforward? Okay. I'm going to go to Bright Thinker, present my screen so that you can see those sentences. Let's go over if there's any questions. Okay, so number 1, Aunt Donna carefully cut and served the delicious cake at the party. What are the compound verbs there? Aryansh, what are the compound verbs in that sentence?
It's cut and served.
That's right, cut and served. Arshab, what are the compound verbs in sentence 2?
Swam and splashed.
Perfect. Boys and girls, once again, if you're getting confused by object of the preposition versus direct object, make sure you're looking for prepositions. Like in this sentence, Aunt Donna cut and served the delicious cake. Cake is your DO. It's what she cut and what she served. And at the party is a prepositional phrase. That's an object of the preposition. Also, remember to try to make something into a mini sentence. The direct object should go with that predicate verb, like Aunt Donna cut the cake. Aunt Donna served cake. But it makes sense to say Aunt Donna, subject, cut, party. Could that be a DO? Did she cut the party? I hope not. Did she serve the party? Well, serving at a party makes sense, but you can't serve a party. Like, oh, here's a party for you. Handing it over. No, it receives the action of that predicate verb. So cake makes sense. She cut the cake. She served the cake. Okay, is there a DO in sentence 2? Is there a DO in that sentence, Alexander?
Number 1.
Sentence 2.
Oh,
Along the riverbank, the 5 children swam and splashed the water.
Is water one? I think it was water, right?
Yeah, it's what they splashed. They splashed what? Water.
I was like, I think it's water because, they splashed water.
Also, there have been a couple times that I've seen people mark the as a preposition, maybe thinking just because it's short that it's a preposition. The is always an adjective.
Yep.
Right? Okay, now moving on to number 3. Let's go over this one quickly as well. Billy should have played and shouted during recess. It's kind of funny. Okay, so should have played. What are should and have in that sentence, Samhita? Should have played.
Helping verbs.
Good. They're both helping verbs. That's right. They're helping the verb. So played and shouted are the 2 actions. And make sure you're always making a mental picture of what's happening in these sentences. Picture a boy named Billy who should have played and shouted at recess. I don't know what he was doing, maybe sitting on the side, just being lazy. But he should have been playing and shouting at recess time. Played and shouted are the actions, right? Now, is recess a DO or an object of the preposition? It's a noun after the verb, but let's think through it. Is it a DO or an object of the preposition? Josiah, which one?
Object of the preposition.
You got it. What's the preposition?
During.
That's right. During recess. So it wouldn't have made sense that he should have played recess or shouted recess. That's not what the sentence is telling us. So it's not a DO. It's not receiving the action of the verb. It's along with that preposition. During what? During recess. I just wanted to point that part out because a lot of you have been confusing DOs and objects of the prepositions because they are both nouns at the end of the sentence. But make sure you're really thinking about what's happening there and find those prepositions. Can you all sing the preposition list? Let's review that. That is a big help in finding prepositions, singing that song. Dikshita, would you sing it for us? You can just start with aboard.
Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, preposition words, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, at, by, preposition words, down, during, except, for, from, inside, in, into, near, preposition words, of, off, on, out, outside, over, past, since, through, preposition words.
Throughout.
Throughout, through, toward, under, up until, upon, with, within, without, underneath. Preposition words, preposition words, preposition words.
You got it, Dikshita. Great job. So boys and girls, make sure you're singing that to yourself. If you're reading a sentence and you're like, preposition? Which one of these could be a preposition? Sing that song to yourself and it will help you to find it. Okay. Question from Aryansh.
We're technically done with well-ordered language because the next unit is direct objects, compound direct objects, which is technically the same, except it's just a different part of speech.
You're exactly right. I know. I am glad that you feel that way, Aryansh. because we already know what a conjunction is, and we've seen conjunctions join two subjects. We've seen it join two verbs, and we're going to see it join two direct objects. But if you already know what a conjunction is and what a direct object is, it's not really anything new. So you're right. Basically, for the rest of the school year, it's going to be review. You could think of it that way. Okay, boys and girls, let's write one sentence in your binder. You can just write it right underneath the spelling words and analyze it to have a little practice with that. Okay, let's think of a sentence with compound verbs. Can somebody tell me some compound verbs? We're going to create a sentence together and then analyze it. Josiah, what are some compound verbs?
My dog chased that puppy. My dog chased and ran at me.
Chased and ran. Compound verbs. Good job. Now, Josiah said dog, but can somebody give me a different subject? What's another subject that could chase and run? Chase and run. Tig?
I'm going to be a little ridiculous here. Is it okay if I say turtle?
I love it. Yes. A turtle chased and ran? That is pretty funny to picture. Okay, so the turtle chased and ran. I think we need to know what he's chasing, what he's running after. Aryansh, can you think of what he's chasing?
Aliens.
What? A turtle's chasing aliens? My goodness.
I thought aliens would be chasing turtles instead, actually.
Okay, we're going to stick with what we have, though. So there is a turtle chasing aliens and running. Let's add a prepositional phrase to keep going with that run. Emma, can you think of a prepositional phrase?
I was gonna think of cats and then chasing a mouse.
Running after a cat or after a mouse?
A cat.
He's already chasing some aliens.
Yeah. But
Maybe we could add a different prepositional phrase. The turtle chased aliens or chased an alien.
For the sentence, I was going to say a cat is chasing a mouse.
Oh, yep, that would be a good one. Okay, let's go ahead and start writing this so far, though. Let's write the treacherous turtle to add a good adjective that we just wrote for spelling. And some good alliteration in there. Treacherous turtle chased the aliens and ran let's say he ran. Dikshita, can you think of a prepositional phrase or an adverb to describe that more?
To the supermarket.
Oh, goodness, this is getting goofier and goofier. Ran to the, I'm almost out of space, so I'm just going to write market. What on earth? This is bizarre. Okay, so the treacherous turtle chased the aliens and ran to the market. Whoa, that could be an interesting story. Let's go ahead and mark this sentence for our well-ordered language review. Rishith, did you have something to share or add on?
Actually, this is what I thought. So I thought the treacherous turtle chased Julius Caesar and
He's chasing Julius Caesar. So we're doing a turtle production of Julius Caesar. And he's chasing after Brutus, who didn't end up killing him this time. Oh, wait, no. The treacherous turtle, being Brutus, is chasing after Julius Caesar. Sorry, I mixed that up. Okay, we're going to keep with this sentence, though. So who can find the subject? Emma, what's the subject here?
Turtle.
Turtle. There's only one subject. It's a turtle. Now, what is this turtle doing? He's doing two things in this sentence. Marcus, what are they? What are the two predicate verbs?
Chased and ran.
Good. Chased and ran are both predicate verbs with and as a conjunction. Now, Arshad, do we have a prepositional phrase?
Yeah, we do. To the market.
Good. To the market is a prepositional phrase.
The preposition is to. The object of the preposition is market, and the is the adjective to market.
Perfect. Do we have a direct object? Is there something or someone that's being chased? Is there something or someone that's ran? Alexander?
Right? It's really spooky if you want to hear it. It's
I'm ready.
aliens. Aliens.
Oh, chasing aliens. So I guess since the turtle is the treacherous one, the aliens are the good guys here, though? What do you think? Or maybe he's chasing after the aliens and trying to become one of them, leaving the good animals of Earth behind. Who knows what's happening here? Okay, so he chased the aliens. The aliens, that's the DO. Now, what are the and treacherous doing in the sentence? Emma?
Adjectives.
Good. What are they describing?
Turtle.
Turtle. They're both describing turtle. Very good. Now, we don't have any more words, but we do have one thing we still need to do. What's that? Ariansh? Marcus, are you writing this on your binder, in your binder on notebook paper? Go ahead, Ariansh.
We have to have a line that's point the prepositional phrase to ran.
Good. Why do you say just ran, not chased?
Because he didn't chase. So he ran to the market. He didn't chase to the market.
That's right. Sometimes prepositional phrases go with two verbs. In this case, it's only one. And then we're going to put ADV prep right there. Now we are done. And tag, that is exactly what's happening. Love it. Okay, that was quite a quirky sentence. So we will have our well-ordered language test on compound verbs tomorrow. It will be posted in Bright Thinker for you to do. And then we'll start on our last chapter in your workbook. But as Ariansh mentioned, it's not really anything new. Because you already know about direct objects and you already know about conjunctions. So it's going to be easy peasy, I think, for all of you. Okay, it is orthography time. We're going to write our words in the back and sort in a couple of spots too. We had some good synonyms and antonyms in this lesson, so that's what I want to focus on. Lesson 104. Our first word was treacherous. This is on page 63, by the way. Can you all turn to page 63? Oh, nice, Arianch. That sentence looks good. Page 63. Marcus, we don't just sit there. You've got work to do, bud. You see your classmates turning in their orthography notebooks? Good job. Okay, our first word was treacherous, like that treacherous turtle. Our next word was genuine. We think to spell genuine. Great job, Marcus. After that is quarrel. R says an sound. This one is silent. Thinking cap. Quarrel. And our last word was accommodate. Accommodate. Remember 2 double consonants in this word. Double C, double M. Can you hold up all 4 words when you are finished, boys and girls? Thank you, Dikshita. Great job, Alexander. Tag. Sahanasri, well done. Josiah, if you're finished, can you show me your words? Great job, bud. Sampita, if you're finished, would you show me your words? Excellent. Rishith, you too? And Marcus? Can I see lesson 104 when you finish? Rishith? Please hold up your work so I can see you finished with lesson 104. Then you'll turn to page 12. We're going to write some things on pages 12 and 13, some synonyms and antonyms. Let's write quarrel first. A quarrel is like a fight or an argument. Let's write that on page 12. Kruthi?
I was just asking what page it was.
Page 12. You could also write disagreement as a synonym. So quarrel is like a fight or an argument or a disagreement. Quarrel and fight and argument are both synonyms that we could include, but disagreement works as well. And then we'll skip over to antonyms. I've got a couple of antonyms I'd like you to write. Genuine, genuine, can refer to how honest a person is. And so if you have that having to do with a person, you could say dishonest as an antonym, or treacherous. Like they betray you. Opposite of someone who would be genuine. But another way of using genuine has to do with like an object being genuine. Kruti?
Can you put your paper up a little bit?
Like that? So for objects, I want you to write counterfeit as an antonym, since that is a recent spelling word too. So I guess we could have included those on the same line, but it's two different types of meanings. Some antonyms, words that have the opposite meaning of another word. You will have some synonyms, antonyms, and homonym practice in the well-ordered language test tomorrow as well. So that is definitely part of the test. Okay, at this time though, we are going to put away our notebooks and get ready for math. In which we will use our workbooks again, just like yesterday. Oops. Okay, we did a bar graph yesterday. We're going to do a little bit more with bar graphs today. Did anybody have questions about the fraction problems from yesterday that you did for homework? Any questions or ones you were thinking, I'm not sure if I got the right answer here? Okay, this should be pretty fresh on your mind, but go ahead and speak up, Dikshita. What was your question about?
I just don't understand the 8th question. That's it.
Number 8. Okay. Thanks for speaking up. So Dikshita, we've got a blank for a numerator here, and then a blank for the denominator, and then a blank for another numerator. Whenever you've got, actually, this is a little different than the ones we've done because you can't see exactly what it's being multiplied by. But I would assume that it's going from the smallest numbers in our fraction to bigger and bigger numbers. Who can tell me what they wrote as a numerator in this one? It wouldn't really make sense if it was 2 and then it converted to 2 of something else, or 3 or 4. What would make sense though, Arianch?
One is the only number that makes sense because it is 1 plus 1 equals 2.
Good.
No other
1
number.
is the only numerator that makes sense with fifths because you could multiply it by 2 to get to this one. Good. And then that's going to help you with the rest of the problems. Now, if you multiply this by 2, that means you also multiply the denominator by 2. So, Dikshita, what's the denominator?
Ten.
Perfect. And then we can see that going from 10 to 20 also means we're going to multiply by 2. So that tells you what you're going to do on the top. Arshab, what's the numerator in the very last fraction? Can you tell me your answer for the very last fraction?
Which question? Oh, 9.
We're on number 8, page 138.
Okay. It's 40.
Great job. Oh, actually, I don't know why I said that. Not 4T, but what? Because we're going to, if we multiply 10 times 2 to get 20, we also have to multiply 2 times 2.
4.
Good, 4. So then let's double check that these all make sense. 1/5 is the same as 2/10, which is equivalent also to 4/20. Does that make sense? Yeah, those answers make sense. Okay. Any other questions about these fraction pages? The ones from homework yesterday. Okay, Arianch?
So I think it was on question 13. Is there another way other than changing the denominators both to 40? Is there another way to do it?
14. This one?
13.
Oh, sorry, 13.
On question 13, you have to change both denominators to 4 and 40. So is there a faster way to do that, or is that the way to do it?
Good question. So if we're thinking through common factors, let's see, we would do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, I think 40 would be the closest one, but you can also use the strategy of comparing to 1/2. And I think that's actually what they maybe want you to be practicing here. Would 2/5 be less than 1/2 or greater than 1/2, Arianch?
I think less than.
Yeah, that's right, because 2 is less than half of 5. So 2/5 would be over here on less than 1/2. Is 5/8 less than 1/2 or greater than 1/2?
Less than 2.
No, actually, this one's greater than 1/2 because 5, with that denominator 8, 4 would be exactly half, but this one's greater than 4. Does that make sense?
I was getting confused because 5/10. Doesn't 5/10 equal to 1/2?
Yes,
That
5/10
means
is equal to 1/2.
then I think it should be less.
So, sorry, this is not a very good number line. Let me draw this out over here. If we have a number line starting at 0, ending at 1. 1/2 is right here. Let's break it up into eighths instead. Okay, if I want it to be eighths, 4 eighths would be the same as 1/2. So that means before it would be 3 eighths, 2 eighths, 1 eighth. And
Okay,
after it is 5 eighths. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Okay, I think a number line would be a good tool to use for that if you're a little unclear. And that is, I would say, the fastest strategy for that problem, number 13. Did anybody use that strategy to solve which one was greater, 2/5 or 5 eighths? Right? I would say that's the fastest, but if you're not very confident in that, you can definitely convert them to 40ths. So 2/5, if you wanted to make it a denominator of 40, you can just multiply the numerator by 8 as well, since 5 times 8 is 40, to get 16. And then 5 eighths, you want to convert to 40. 8 times 5 is 40. So you can see which one's greater that way. So you can do that way. Comparing it to 1/2 would be a little faster. That would be my suggestion as a faster way of doing that, okay? Now, it's a little trickier when you've got one like number 12, where they both are greater than 1/2. So with that one, I would convert 2/3 to 6ths, right? Because that can be pretty easy to convert it to the same denominator. And then you can see that 5/6 is the greater one. Okay, good question, Aryansh. I like hearing questions like that where you're thinking through what's the best strategy. Maybe Aryansh knew how to find the right answer, but he's thinking, is there an even better way of doing it? Okay, let's move over to page 145. And we're going to finish up this problem that we started yesterday on the line plot about the number of hours spent on a favorite sport. So again, we skipped over the bar graph chapter, and we're going to get back to it in a couple weeks. But this is just an overview and a good opportunity to talk through graphing data. So we've got some information already on this line plot. We're going to answer questions based off of it in the questions 53 to 57 below. And then we're going to get to one more graph that's also already filled in, and we're just going to be answering questions based off of it. Okay, Tig, could you read question 53 and think through what the answer would be, and I'll help you out if you get stuck.
Sure. Okay. It says how many students spend more than 5 hours on their favorite sport?
Okay, Tig. So how many answers are there that are greater than 5 hours?
3. Well, 3 columns.
So, yeah, there are 3 columns. You're exactly right. Now, it says how many students spend more than 5 hours on their favorite sport. Each of these X's represents one student. So can you see how many students spent more than 5 hours?
Yes, I just counted.
Good. What did you find as your answer?
11.
Perfect. Who got the same thing as Tig? If you count up all of the X's for hours greater than 5, which would be these ones, 6, 7, and 8, you'd get 11 total. Great job. Could I have Josiah read 54 and answer that one?
How many hours did most students spend on their favorite sport.
Okay. How many hours, will be 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, did most students spend on their sport? Which one has the most X's?
6.
Good. 6 had the most students. So we write 6 hours. Kruthi, could you do number 55 for us?
What number?
55.
Okay, 1 second.
We're on page 145. Is everybody else on page 145?
Okay, so number 55.
Yes.
Okay, so the number of students who spent 6 hours on their favorite sport is blank times the number of students who spent 7 hours.
Can you understand what that question's asking?
So it's saying like, so the number of students who spent 6 hours on their favorite sport is like how much more times the number who spent 7 hours.
Good. So how many responses are there for 6?
There are 6.
6. And how many for 7?
And for 7, there are 2.
Good. So how many times larger is 6 than 2?
4 times.
No. 2
But
times
page-
what is 6? Page 145, sweetie.
2 times 3.
Good. It's 3 times as large. Does that make sense, everybody? Since 2 times 3 is 6. 6 is 3 times as large as 2. Okay, does that make sense, Kruthi? Okay. Sahanasri, would you do number 56? You can read it and answer it.
There are blank fewer students who spend 5 hours on their favorite sport than those who spent 8 hours.
Kind of like the last one, we're talking through the difference. Now, the other one was how many times bigger. This is blank fewer students, which means we're going to have to use subtraction for this. So, how many fewer students spent 5 hours than 8 hours? Sahanasri, what's the difference between those two?
Is it 3 again?
Yeah, you're right. Because there's 0 who said 5. So there's a difference of 3. And Arshab, could you think through 57? Read that one for us and answer.
If a total of 15 students were surveyed, how many students do not spend any time on sports?
Does that make sense?
I don't get it.
Okay, so imagine that 15 people were surveyed. They were asked questions. Now, we've got to think through how many responses there are and figure out what's the difference between the number of people surveyed and how many responses there actually were. Can you count up the total? The total X's?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
You're 1 off.
12.
12, good. So if there were 12 responses, but 15 people were asked, That means how many people did not spend any time on sports?
3.
Good. 3. Because they were asked, but they didn't give an answer for a number of hours because they don't spend any time. Excellent job. Let's move on to the next page, 146. And for those of you who didn't get to help with the last one, you'll be able to help with this. Now we have a bar graph to show the number of points scored by 4 basketball players. Edwin is obviously the best on the team, or at least he was in that game. He scored 60 points. Oh my goodness. Now, Irene, Rachel, and Joanna, they did not score as many points. How many points did Irene score? Marcus? Can you read this graph on page 146 and tell me how many points Irene scored?
Yeah. Irene scored 20 points.
You got it. Samhita, how many points did Rachel score?
Rachel scored 10 points.
Good. And Rishith, what about Joanna?
15 points.
Good. Halfway between 10 and 20 is 15. It didn't say that, but we can figure that out because it's halfway between 10 and 20. Okay, so first question, number 58, Samhita, how many points did Edwin score?
Edwin scored 60.
Good. Let's write 60 for number 58.
And Rachel kind of reminds me of Percy Jackson because there's this character named Rachel in Percy Jackson.
Nice. So you're picturing her playing basketball. She scored 10 points, which is good. This is a high-scoring game. It's much, much less than Edwin, though. He's obviously going to be in the NBA. Tig?
I feel like I can relate so much to Edwin.
Really? Are you great at basketball? Nice. Okay, could I have Emma answer 59? Please read it and answer it.
Let's see. Edwin scored 10 more points
20
than
more points.
Rachel. 20 more points than Rachel. How many points did Rachel score?
Okay, so we're changing up our bar graph because what we see right here is that she scored 10 and that Edwin scored 60, but it's telling us here that Edwin actually scored only 20 more than Rachel. So we're going to add on some points to Rachel. How many points did she score? According to this information, how many points did she score? Alexander?
She scored
Edwin scored 60, which is 20 more than Rachel. So how much is Rachel?
10. Wait, sorry. Rachel scored, hold on, let me see. Yeah, 10.
Well, it says 10 up here, but we're actually going to add on some points to the graph. How many points did Rachel score?
20. 40.
Perfect, 40.
I put 10.
Let's fill out Rachel's
that's
bar
40.
graph all the way to 40 because that's actually what she scored. And that's what number 60 is. Use your answer from question 59 to complete the bar graph for Rachel. And I like to kind of work backwards. So here's 40. That's where I'm going to stop. Let's fill it out all the way to 40. And once again, you don't have to be super precise as long as it's clear what number it's going up to. Okay? But something like that would look good. But don't worry if it's not filled out completely. Okay, and then we're going to use that information to help with the next ones. So Rachel was better than you thought she was when you looked at this bar graph the first time. She scored 40. That's good. Deekshita, can you answer number 61 for us?
Edwin scored 3 times as many points as one of the players. Who is this player?
So Deekshita, how many points did Edwin score?
60.
Good. And it says that is 3 times as big as which other player? 3 times as many as who? Whom?
Irene.
How did you know? Good job.
So she scored 20. So if you add 20 times 3 equals to 60.
Great job. She scored 20. 20 times 3 is 60, which we can use the strategy of just multiplying the first numbers. 2 times 3 is 6, and then it's multiples of 10. Finally, who scored the least number of points? It seemed like it was Rachel, but it's actually not Rachel. Who is it? Marcus?
Edwin.
Not the least number. He scored actually the most points. But we're looking for who
Oh,
scored
the least. Can you move your book down?
Marcus, do you have your book open?
Yeah. Do you mean the most or the least, though?
It's the least. But Marcus, this should be in
Joanna.
your math workbook. And this has to be homework for you if you're not doing it in class with us right now.
Okay.
Can you open up very, very quickly? Move fast, 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 fast. And open up to page 146 in your math workbook. I don't want you to have extra homework.
Is it 3B or 3A?
3B, we won't use 3A anymore. So we don't have to ask about 3A anymore since we're done.
Okay. Which page is this again?
146. Marcus, I'm going to have to let your parents know that you've got some extra pages to do since this was classwork, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Page 146, number 62. Can you answer it?
Person who scored the least is Joanna.
Good job. Once we added Rachel's points, Joanna is actually the one who scored the least. Great job, Marcus. Can you write that on your book as well?
Yes.
Should be doing that on your book too. Okay, boys and girls, that is all for our math today. Any questions about what we just did? Aryansh?
I have lots of questions. I got kicked out of the meeting and then it didn't let me join, and now I'm here and I have no clue what you did actually.
Okay, Aryansh, I'll have you try your best to complete this at home. The thing that could be a little bit tricky for you is that we had to add on some points for Rachel based off of number 59. But then the rest of the questions should be pretty straightforward, okay?
Okay, this is what I did.
You'd also be welcome, great job, to skip ahead and watch just the end of class. I'm recording this right now and I'll put it on YouTube. And so you could watch just the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes that you missed if you'd like, okay?
I think I got everything though.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I think you'll figure it out. The only thing that I'd say is kind of tricky is knowing that you have to add on points for Rachel, but you did it. So good job. Okay, boys and girls, that covers it for math today. So lots of review. You're going to be reviewing measurements, mainly with your pages for today, pages 141 to 143. And also some fraction practice, a little more fraction practice. Tomorrow we'll get into our actual next chapter, which is time and temperature. So we're going to get to that tomorrow. Yes, Alexander?
So when I see these tortoises after tennis, I'll take a picture and show you guys tomorrow.
I would love that. Yeah, we'd like to see the tortoises. I bet they're adorable.
And you should look up sulcata tortoises. They can get very big. Like
Say the
she
name
says,
again?
they're about. She says they're about this big. Hers. Florida here. Oh no. Well, bye everybody. Oh, sulcata tortoises.
Sulcata?
Yeah. SALCATA. I think.
Okay. SUL, sulcata. I found it. Oh, that's going to be really cool. I'll show you some pictures.
Bye.
This is what he gets to see, some sulcata tortoises. Whoa.
They get big.
That is pretty big. Okay. Have fun. Boys and girls,
Bye,
just
everybody.
stay with me. Everybody else, I'll see you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, Miss Garner.
Bye.
Garner.
Bye, Josiah. Bye, Emma. Bye,
I
Sanaski.
want to tell you something.
Yes?
So speaking of that tortoise, I've held